policy that would have prevented you from posting those pictures or sending those pictures even though it was in your private life?
This is personal and private. There's cases where something that affects your duty status or something in that regard, and then there's policies regarding that. But this is purely personal, purely private, that is launched publicly, politically, in a manner for what purpose? I think it's clear to most people that there was an effort to harm me, not just personally, but the resulting impact and effect is politically. And so I'm embracing that what some people would see as a hill or even a mountain, and I'm saying that I'm going forward. And let the voters decide. And then to talk about the issues that are of great importance here.
Were any of those transactions
like that, or let's stop now? I mean,
well, this is, and again, this is my personal, my private life. I have not done that for some extreme time, and so that's again, anybody who in their personal life wants to conduct personal business and affairs themselves. That's their business, and for me. And again, there's boundaries to information. And not to your question, I understand.
So what's your stance on gay marriage and gays in the military?
Sure. Well, having actually served in the military for 20 years and being a commander, and this is where Chris Simmons, this is already the law now. This is already new regulation.
So your stance is you're for gays in the military?
I believe that any American who wants to serve their country and put on the uniform of our country to protect our liberties and freedoms, they should be allowed to do so.
And what about gay marriage?
And if personal liberties and freedoms, talk about the religious freedoms. Talk about the freedom of religion and the expression of that. This is a deeply religious ceremony, an event. And if some faiths condone and support it, some do not and are adamantly against it. And this is an issue not for the federal government. I see this as, and a lot of people connect this to Ron Paul, as a states' rights issue. That this should not be an issue for the federal government. Anything that's not enumerated in the Constitution would fall to the states.
So if Arizona wants to not have gay marriage, you're okay with that?
And this is where, what do you define as relationship in love?
Well,
and absolutely, this is for me.
Marriage is a legal contract.
This is for me. The legal contracts absolutely should be allowed for anybody. Anyone who wants to be able to see a loved one in the hospital, to be able to enjoy inheritance. Any of those rights, I believe, are basic human rights and privileges that each and every one of us enjoy under the Constitution. The definition of marriage, there are some churches right here in Phoenix, Metro Phoenix, that define it very differently. And that's an issue for the government not to, in my view, to involve themselves in.
So we're asking about your personal...
And I just explained my personal...
What is your personal feeling about the ability of gays to be married?
And what I just shared, and hear me out, and I'll be happy to talk about that, is that if people want to be in one, if it's a civil union, and some people have ceremonies in certain faiths and religion to be married, and that's their religious belief and their ceremony, absolutely, that it's not the role of me as a sheriff, as a candidate for Congress, or this government to enter in the protections of freedom of religion.
But it's illegal in Arizona. It's legal in other states.
And that's where, if states prohibit that, that's the issues for the states. I can be a supporter and get out there and help articulate as we progress as a culture and as a society that there should be individual liberties and there should be individual freedoms. That for us, that any other person to define somebody else's relationship and to say that it's not okay, that is not who we are as Americans.
If the allegations are false, do you plan on taking any legal action?
Not at this time, no. Yeah.
Sheriff, do you expect any more men to come out with similar allegations?
Look, as I said, that I'm a single man, and I've never been married. I haven't seen women in a long time on a romantic basis, and that's not for me to predict. I'm not here to make a declaration of anything in terms of it's limited to that. And the reason why I say that is this is personal, private. I've had a number of friends from all walks of life, including chaplains and pastors, that have reached out to me and said, you know, wow, you know, the irony. I just want to let you know I'm praying and supporting you. So here, all I'm talking about today is specifically these main allegations that they're completely false and baseless, and then the personal component as well. We're going to take a couple last questions here.
Sir, those text messages cited in the story, are they fabricated?
All of the personal information that was related in the story, and that's where the allegation about criminal conduct and activity is completely baseless and false. Everything else, I'm not here to deny. I'm not here to say that this is false. I'm here to say that who I am as a person, and all these things were done in the privacy of two individuals. That's a boundary, and that's a boundary, I think, for each and every person in America.
So yes or no, were those text messages fabricated?
As I just said, that all of the personal information for me there, I'm not denying. What I am saying is personal stuff about me. There's certain boundaries, as the other questions were asked, that I'm not going into detail because it begs 1,000 more questions that, quite frankly, it's none of your business. One more question over here.
Wait.
Yes, go ahead.
If I were to date an undocumented
she has
person
this,
and then
question.
threaten them, that it would be my business.
Go ahead.
Were any of those text messages actually on your work phone at all?
No, not at all. No government resources were used.
Can you talk about why you chose the Sheriff's Department to hold this press conference?
Absolutely, I'd be happy. Actually, there were criminal allegations that were done, and in fact, you referenced it early in your earlier question. So it's vitally important as a sheriff, and my credibility is questioned, and my actions, that absolutely I'm going to speak to it, and everything that I've done in my public life and in my performance of duty, in my sworn oath, at any level in my entire career, whether in the military or as a law enforcement officer, has been not only fully honorable, has complied with all the law and led by example. So I want to thank you for coming here today and appreciate your time and your effort to clarify not only the record, but to let everybody know that we're moving forward, that I'm anxious to speak about the issues that are most important to the families of Arizona. Thank you, and God bless you.